Hello and welcome to the fourth installment of TOVG TV. I'm Aaron and Halloween is around the corner, so as you can tell I got my Halloween costume on. I am Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles. I even got my nunchucks. Let's look at this, see? Look at that, nunchucks. Do a little thing right there. It's just a Halloween thing.
Your back too.
Oh, the back. And look, I got, can you get this?
Mm-hmm.
Little book bag. I got Shelby for her birthday. It's a half-shell book bag, so you can't have the turtle without the half-shell. And since it is Halloween, I'm not the only one dressed up. Let me get that camera. Give me that camera.
No.
Let me see that camera. My videographer, Shelby, is also... She is a cat. Say hello.
Hello.
You may see her in a later video, especially in Nintendo Fest. Announce more of that later. Now get back to here. Take this off, and today I am going to talk about Gears of War 3. I just finished the game. Big Gears of War fan. Had Gears of War 1 and 2, and Gears of War 3. It was a good game. We'll get to why it's a good game. There's a few downsides, obviously, to everyone. This game starts off with a flashback of Marcus Phoenix in jail. What he has to do is he sees his father, who he knows is dead, get killed by the grubs, and he has to fight off the Lambent. So they go through, and he finds out that his father is actually alive, and he has to go find him, see if he really is alive. And you go through and you fight through, and just letting you know, there are going to be spoilers in this video because it's a big part I want to talk about. There are spoilers in this, and it's a pretty big spoiler, so just don't pay attention to it. If you want to stop it right now, I'll tell you. Don't stop it right now, but I'll tell you when the spoiler is coming up. But to go on with the story, you have to fight more of the Lambent, which is kind of a zombie. How to explain it? Is like a zombified grub. They explode when you destroy them. They explode, and then later on, you figure as your quest to find Marcus's father, you find out that the Lambent are starting to go to humans, and there's kind of like a zombie type humans going around, and it's a really fun battle in that part where you're in a building, and you have to there's elevators around you, and you hear the elevators ticking down, and you know that what's going to happen is when the elevators open up, that the Lambent's going to come after you, and that was a really fun part. And one of the main things as I saw, and this is something that has always hindered the Gears of War trilogy, soon to be more of a series with the fourth one coming out, but all the characters just didn't seem real. I could not relate to them. They were not realistic. Obviously, looking at me, I'm not a steroided up football player, and that's what it seemed like all the Gears were. They were just giant men who did outrageous things. The voice acting was always subpar. In this game, I can't say the voice acting was the best. Marcus always sounds like a gravelly voice, and he seems like that generic guy who's going to be, you would see as a generic military guy, and I could not relate to that. None of the characters just seem relatable, and they decided that in this game they were going to introduce some women to it, and they're going to have generic women who you could root for, who would fight alongside you, who wouldn't be the stereotypical women, but it seemed like that's exactly what they didn't do. They had stereotypical women who just seemed to be in there to have crushes on the main characters, to be damsels in distress, and that was really disappointing. And that's coming up to now the spoiler, and let me, for this part, be more serious. Let me get my cheaters on instead of this Michelangelo mask. A little more of the glasses there, I can see better. The spoiler, so stop right now, and we'll see you next time if you do stop at TOVG TV with Nintendo Fest. Go to the blog to read about Nintendo Fest. I'll talk more about it later, but if you do stay, you have played the game. Spoilers about to happen. No more warnings. Here comes a major spoiler. Dom dies, and he's Marcus's best friend, and what was so surprising, I kind of knew it was going to happen, what was so surprising is that it impacted me. Even though everything I was just talking about with the characters not being relatable and me just not feeling like they were real, I still care deeply about Dom's death. And I can't explain why. I couldn't explain why until I started rewatching the scene and telling it to Shelby and some of my friends at work about the scene. And when I figured it out was how it played out. Mainly the song Mad World being playing, the piano instrumental version of the song Mad World. And for those of you who remember the Gears of War preview commercial that was on TV, one of the very first previews had the song Mad World in it, and it was a really awesome preview that I still remember to this day, and it really impacted me. So when I was watching that preview, if you can go search for it, watch it, because it's really, I mean, the scene where Dom dies, search for it, find it, because it's really good. He starts talking to his dead wife, and then they start playing the instrumental version of Mad World, and I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. It was really good. And then they slow down, and he drives the truck into the horde of locusts and lambents and lambent humans, and slowly in slow motion destroys everything with that song playing in the background and everyone running away. And Marcus actually shows emotion. He doesn't seem like a generic guy now. He's a real person. And it was just, my jaw was open. I've never been impacted that much in a game as I can remember. And it got me thinking that that song is a very powerful song when you think about them. The rendition of it with the piano was very powerful, and it got me thinking, how would it impact actual moments in movies? So I thought I'd put together a little package of parts in movies and video games, sad moments, maybe big moments, and inserted Mad World rendition, the piano instrumental, in it. And I thought I'd make a montage for you, so let's check it out right here.
Come back! Come back! I'll never let go. I promise.
Remember the way to the Great Valley?
I guess so. But why do I have to know? You're gonna be with me.
I'll be with you. Even if you can't see me.
What do you mean if I can't see you? I can always see you.
Corneria City now. This is horrible.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes!
That was actually really depressing. Yeah, that came out a lot worse than I expected it, but it really proves my point, because it made things worse, especially that Land Before Time part. That was really sad, and I was really depressed after making that one, but it was still sad. But anyway, it just shows how soundtracks can make a game and can make a scene. So that's where I think Gears of War 3 really excelled at, is making you invested, irregardless of the characters that maybe didn't seem real or not relatable. As I said before, they made you care about them. They gave you a reason to care about them. And I was surprised that I cared so much, where towards the end, it's just so many emotional moments towards the end of it. You know, at the end, you were happy to win. You were happy to see Marcus make it through the war when you eventually end it. And I was just I was surprised at how good of a game it was. And gameplay is a lot of fun. It's not like Halo, where you can jump, where you can hit people. It's a third-person shooter. You have to dodge. You can't jump. It gives you more of a strategic way of playing. A lot of fun. That was the same with the first two games. You have different weapons you could use. The monsters, the enemies, the grubs were different. They had different lambent that you had to have different ways of defeating, shoot off limbs, what have you, in order to beat them. And then after Dom's death, it seemed like even the voice acting got better. It seemed like I appreciated what they were trying to do. Even though some characters you couldn't understand still, and other characters just seemed like they wouldn't exist in the real world, it was still a really fun game to play, and I was really invested towards the end of it. And I am not ashamed to say that Gears of War 3 was one of the best games of 2011, and I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Best in the trilogy, I would say it's one of the best in the trilogy. I mean, there's only 3 of them, but they're a fantastic trilogy of games. Even though they're having spin-offs, the War trilogy was fantastic for Gears of War. Check it out. You know, you won't be disappointed. Try out all 3 games. Epic Games did a great job making these games, and I would say try it out if you can. Definitely, you will enjoy it. You will definitely enjoy it and be invested just like I was. So that's all we have for TOVG TV today, episode 4. We'll see you next time. Oh, come on, don't play the sad music. That's just gonna... Why are you doing this to me? Don't play the sad... Put the happy music on, please. Put the happy music on. Okay, that's better. Okay, so we'll see you next time on TOVG TV. Once again, we are having Nintendo Fest in November to celebrate the Wii U release. Go to the blog, blog right here, www.tovg.blogspot.com, and then go to the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/timeoutvideogames. Go there for more information on Nintendo Fest. We'll see you next time on TOVG TV. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time.